Here is the radicalism, innate to his pedigree, that automatically casts him as the perfect antidote to America's corrosive racial politics. After all, this is the radicalism by which Martin Luther King put Americans in touch, if only briefly, with their human universality. Barack Obama is the progeny of this idealism, and as such, he is a living rebuke to both racism and racialism, to both segregation and identity politics, to any form of collective chauvinism. For all his misfittedness, he also embodies a great and noble human aspiration, to smother racial power in a democracy of individuals. To stand in the glow of so high an aspiration is to seem a bit enchanted, or, at the very least, charismatic. It doesn't matter that he sometimes goes along with race-based policies or that he made his own Faustian bargain with affirmative action. No college-bound black of his generation could avoid this self-compromise. No one is excited because Obama nods to identity politics. People are excited because he represents an idealism that opposes such politics. Any black who takes on the near absolute visibility that goes with seeking such high office will function as both a man and a symbol, and sometimes the two will be at odds. So it is not surprising that Obama the man may vary a bit from Obama the symbol. And as a symbol, he raises several remarkable possibilities. Is America now the kind of society that can allow a black, of whatever pedigree, to become the most powerful human being on earth, the commander of the greatest military in history? Have our democratic principles at last moved us beyond even the tribalism of race? And will the black American identity, still so reflexively focused on victimization, be nullified if a black wins the presidency of this largely white nation? The cultural and historical implications of Obama's candidacy are clearly greater than its public policy implications. While Obama the man labors in the same political vineyard as his competitors, mapping out policy positions on everything from war to health care, his candidacy itself asks the American democracy to virtually complete itself, to achieve that almost perfect transparency, where color is indeed no veil over character, where a black, like a white, can put himself forward as the individual he truly is. This is the aspirational significance of Obama's campaign, the high possibility that it points to, quite apart from its policy goals. Chapter 2. Plausibility. But whether or not Obama's presidential campaign gains this high ground, it has already achieved historical significance. And this achievement is simply the plausibility of Barack Obama as a presidential candidate. It is conceivable that this black man could be voted into the presidency of the United States by a broad and multiracial swath of the American electorate, if not in this current election season, then in a subsequent one. This possibility became plausible, despite America's tortured racial history, for two reasons. The first is that white America, since the 60s, has undergone a moral evolution away from racism so transformative that there is now something like a desire in the body politic to see a truly qualified black person in the White House. Of course, this desire may be only ephemeral goodwill, as wistful as it is unexamined. It may be only a kind of fatalism, a desire to have over with some difficult inevitability. Nevertheless, there is now openness to a prospect that was inconceivable only a short time ago. If nothing else, Barack Obama's sudden and broad popularity verifies the presence of this new openness for the first time. When you can credibly run for the presidency only 2 years out of the Illinois state legislature, and upon announcing your campaign, immediately surge past all but one competitor, then something in society is drawing you forward. The second thing that makes Obama's candidacy plausible is, of course, Obama himself. To begin with, he is blessed with remarkable political talent. It is no accident that the word Kennedy-esque so often trails in his wake. He is tall, elegant as well as eloquent, and seemingly comfortable in his own skin. He orates movingly and writes with the narrative skill of a novelist. With so much natural facility, he could easily have nurtured a Clinton-esque slickness. But Obama's weaknesses stem from earnestness more than glibness. He hasn't yet mastered the humorous or ironic quip, and he can sometimes be inadvertently elitist, rearing back and calling an enemy a social Darwinist, as if to devastate him. His passions seem more of the head than of the heart, and clearly he would be a far more cerebral president than America is used to. After announcing his own bid for the Democratic nomination last winter, Senator Joseph Biden made the innocuously racist comment that Obama was articulate, bright, and clean. This was racist because it celebrated Obama at the expense of other blacks who were presumably inarticulate, not bright, and unclean. Also, it showed surprise at high ability in a black. Senator Biden's words, for all their unfortunate double entendre, represented a common response to Obama, that this young man is surprising because he is both black and apparently quite able. He seems to meet and possibly exceed the basic ability bar for people seeking such high office, white or black. And in Obama's case, this bar is very specific. His abilities can never be seen to depend on the condescensions of white guilt. As a black, Obama must display enough natural talent to be immune to the stigma of affirmative action, the perception that he is a mediocrity lifted up by the lowered standards that so many American institutions have strewn in the path of college-bound and college-educated blacks for decades. Affirmative action has become a stigma of minority inferiority in American life. Even in highest officialdom, affirmative action is rationalized by viewing blacks as almost interminably weak, as a race that will need racial preferences for at least another quarter century. This, according to Justice Sandra Day O'Connor in the 2003 University of Michigan affirmative action case.